I decided to purchase these cereal dispensers to make it easier for my children to serve themselves breakfast on mornings I'm unable to cook. However, the closest I could find to matching my kitchen were these white and silver ones. So when they arrived today, I removed all of the silver parts, taped off the areas that I didn't want to get paint on, and spray painted them with a quick coat of Rust-Oleum Pure Gold. The dispenser also had this logo on it, so I scratched it off with a razor blade and then buffed out the scratch marks with some 120 grit sandpaper. Once my spray paint was dry, I removed the tape and reassembled everything. I filled my containers with the best cereals ever, Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Lucky Charms. Cereal is definitely a treat in our home, but this will make it much easier on the days they do get to enjoy it. I stored it just high enough in the pantry they can't get into it without assistance, and then we'll just pull it down for them on mornings they're going to eat it.
I love buying supermarket flowers and making them into an expensive looking flower arrangement. I got white hydrangeas and roses from Costco, picked a large gold bowl, put a clear vase inside the bowl with water, and used the taping technique. I then pulled the green leaves of my hydrangeas, then I trimmed them and put them inside the bowl with the water. The taping technique holds the flowers in place and helps fill up the bowls faster. I added my roses, I lit up my candle, and here's how it all looks in my kitchen.
A few functional things we included in our build that I would highly recommend. This serving window that connects our kitchen with our screened-in back porch. If you're doing a coffee station, add a water line so your coffee maker stays full of water. An appliance garage to hide all of your small appliances, even though I haven't bought them yet. A pot filler. A paper towel dispenser that is accessible but not taking up space on the countertop, a bottle filler by the back door, and a laundry chute. This thing is a lifesaver with our kids being upstairs and our laundry room being down.
I've had this mirror tucked away for years, and I've seen a few TikToks that inspired me to spruce it up a bit. The white paneling doesn't really go with my aesthetic, so I decided to try and recreate the famous Anthropologie gold antique mirror. So we're gonna try and make it ourselves. You're going to need Gorilla Glue, painter's tape, 6 clamps, wooden appliques that you can get off of Amazon, and some metallic spray paint. Before you start, clean the mirror thoroughly and be sure to protect the mirror with a large piece of poster board and some painter's tape. Then I just laid out my appliques to determine where I wanted to glue them on. And so it began. I made my measurements for that center piece to make sure it was nice and even. I continued to attach each corner piece, and I used those clamps to secure them in place. After 1 hour of letting it dry, I had to go back in and do a little bit of touch-up to remove any glue that was seeping out from the back. After about 2.5 hours of drying time, I went in and spray painted with the gold metallic paint. Once that was dry, I removed the painter's tape, and this is the final result. I love how it turned out. This project is perfect for anyone who wants to make a bold statement and save some money. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and follow.
I really wanted a custom neon sign, but I wasn't ready to pay hundreds of dollars for it, so I decided to make it myself. You need a stretched canvas, LED wire, and a hot glue gun. I started by writing my text on the canvas. I punched holes so that I can hide parts of the LED wire that I don't want to see. I'm using the hot glue gun to secure the wire on the surface. This whole project only took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. Don't forget to secure the back, and this is how it turned out.
My brother got me this little desk that came with a tiny desk, and then this leaf was born and joined our family. And after that, we decided to take them on their very first road trip together. Then it was time to set up camp. My daughter was obsessed with this little tent we found on Amazon, and it comes with a little tiny leaf. My daughter found the perfect spot for the little tent, the little leaf, and the little desk. And it took a little bit of effort, but we made a little teeny tiny fire for our little teeny tiny friends. I couldn't emotionally handle how cute they were, so I decided to paint them with the paints that I brought camping. And I really love how the painting came out. It's so cute. We loved how it came out so much that we decided to bring some new decor onto the TBR bookshelf. We did a little scavenging while we were on the mountain, and so we had some materials to work with. Then it was time to head back to the TBR bookshelf. My kids also found this really cool piece of wood, so we decided to give our little guys a table. The first piece we wanted to hang was the big painting, and then I got an idea. I decided to use these earring hooks to do something special for these picture frames. And now I think they're gonna fit just right on this little tiny table. I'm happy to say that our little tiny TBR bookshelf apartment is coming together.
Here's how to style your entryway. Start with a piece of art that's eye-catching and makes a statement. Add a round table. I love adding a lamp in my entryway because it sometimes can feel very dark in there. Add books for a layered look. A vase. Fill up the vase with faux or real floral stems. Place a jar filled with candy for your guests to enjoy. A candle. Add a statement piece by the table and light up your candle. And voila! Now you have an entryway that feels welcoming, warm, and inviting.
Okay, so now you do the first layers kind of like your base layer. And we are going to make a really pretty design. It's so simple, but yet people find this fascinating when they come into my house, and they also think that I am.
This tapestry originally was a custom piece for someone, but when I was dyeing the first layer, it fell off the stand into the dye trays below, and it ruined the plan I had for it. So I decided I will still salvage this piece, and I mixed some colors together. I didn't even know exactly what color it really was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be more green, but it ended up being this really pretty blue color. Here I am cleaning up my lines and dyeing the rest of this section. Then the next day I decided to dye this dark gray black color on it. And here's the final product, and it's going to be available in my December collection.
I like our bed to look like it's in a Pottery Barn catalog. Here's how I make it. I use 2 duvets with fluffy inserts and fold them down like this. I scrunch one side of the duvet to make it look more lived in, pull up the corners of the shams, layer different sizes of throw pillows, give them a nice little chop to make it look cozy. And here's how it looks. Follow me for more home decor tips.
So we're going to start with 2 pizza pans. I'm flipping one over. I'm using my A6000 glue to glue these pans together. Then I'm going to take these acrylic knobs I got from Walmart and put them around the top rim of the pizza pan. Then I'm going to use these lights. I got these from Hobby Lobby. I can never find them at Dollar Tree, but I am gluing that down around the inside of the trays. I'm gluing the battery pack on the back. And then I'm going to put glue on the outer rim of the pizza pans, and I'm going to start placing acrylic gems around the entire tray. Coming up, I got this silver plastic serving tray from Dollar Tree. I'm cutting out the inner circle of that. Then I'm tracing that on some cardboard so that this will be leveled on the pizza pan. So I'm gluing both of those pieces down. Then to close in the gap, I'm going around with some diamond wrap, and here it is, guys. Here it is lit up. There you go.
I wanted to DIY an accent wall that was cheap, easy, and less permanent than molding, so I tried this idea from Pinterest.
You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah. And what he knows you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made.
Someone tried to insult me by telling me that I was cheap. What they don't understand is I wear that like a badge of honor, especially when it comes to home decor. I'm always looking for ways to add beauty to my home without spending a ton of money. I especially love greenery. I find stuff in my yard or source it from Costco or Trader Joe's.
Here's a tutorial for how to paint the perfect arch on your wall. I like to use the string method. So you pin down one end of a string with your finger, and you hold the other end in your other hand with your paintbrush, and then that allows you to create the perfect circle. I like to start a little bit smaller than I think it needs to be, and then gradually I make it larger. Don't overload your brush with paint, just enough to keep a steady flow. So here's the key. I know a lot of people do this, and you can see the corners from when the painter's tape meets the arch. So to avoid that, you have to manually connect them. So then you can go ahead and fill in the rest of the arch. I like to use a roller for the center because it gives a more even coat. And then while that's drying, I go ahead and touch up any areas on the arch that are a little bit jagged. And then when that's dry, go ahead and give it all a second coat so that you don't have any patches. And then here's the most important step. When you're done, touch up the edges with the original color of the wall. That's what takes this whole thing from like, oh, that's cool, to like, holy crap, how did you do that? It like seriously polishes up the whole thing. I mean, look how smooth. And that's it, so follow me for more artsy-fartsy stuff.
We had so much fun creating this room for our daughter Amelia. We did a peel and stick wallpaper along the top, installed board and batten around the bottom. This bed actually belonged to my grandmother before she passed, so I was so excited to be able to include it. We built a swing for over in the corner, built a canopy for above her bed, painted the ceiling angelic from Sherwin-Williams, and chose the Hunter Fans Cranbrook for her ceiling fan.
DIY $5 bucket stool part 5. First, I tried loosening it up by bending the edges of the bucket in, and I could feel it was getting loose, so I started trying to pull. I flipped it over and tried to lift the bucket up, and then, oh my gosh, it actually worked, you guys. My family was cheering me on. It turned out amazing, and it was super sturdy. I finished it off by painting the legs, so here I'm measuring out 4 inches and taping it off before I spray paint. Despite all my failed previous attempts, I still only spent $5 overall on materials. I used white glossy spray paint on the bottom 4 inches of the legs to give it a modern feel. Once the spray paint was dry, I peeled off the tape and we finally got to see the finished product. I'm obsessed with how this turned out, and I promise to share a full tutorial on how to make the successful version on my Instagram. The main reason I wanted to make this was so it could be a plant stand. Let me know in the comments which DIY project I should tackle next.